Jamie, perennially late, sprinted towards his English lit class. He considered for a fleeting moment the ancient proverb, "The early bird gets the worm." But what about the late student, he thought, panting. Does he get the tenure? He shook his head, clearing it of such ludicrous thoughts, and spotted a shortcut. A dusty, forgotten elevator tucked away like a shameful secret in the corner of the building. "This'll save me minutes," he muttered, already regretting the decision as a musty smell wafted from its closing doors. The elevator lurched downwards, the gears groaning in protest. The single button inside, an ominous red, pointed downwards. No going back now, Jamie thought, a nervous chuckle escaping his lips as he pulled out his phone, the battery icon flashing an accusatory red. Of course it was almost dead. Of course he was stuck in a creepy elevator. Of course this was happening. The elevator shuddered to a halt. The doors creaked open, revealing a dimly lit hallway with flickering fluorescent lights. A sign, written in a dripping, almost dried blood-like font, read, "Level -1, staff only." Staff of what exactly? Jamie wondered, but quickly chided himself. Don't question it, just keep moving. He stepped out, his sneakers squeaking on the oddly sticky floor. He continued down the hallway, each step echoing in the unsettling silence. The air grew colder, carrying a faint scent of burnt toast and something else, something vaguely metallic. His heart pounded in his chest, a frantic drum solo accompanying his increasingly panicked thoughts. The next elevator ride felt like an eternity, though it probably lasted a whole 30 seconds. The door rattled open to a room filled with mismatched furniture and half-eaten bowls of cereal. A group of squirrels in tiny graduation caps sat around a table, seemingly engrossed in a game of poker. They glanced at Jamie with beady, judging eyes before returning to their game, muttering amongst themselves in high-pitched squeaks. "Right," Jamie said to no one in particular, "because talking squirrels are the weird part." He tiptoed around the gambling rodents, desperately hoping they weren't sore losers. The elevator beckoned, its single red button pulsing like a malevolent eye. "Just a couple more floors," he mumbled, "then I'm out of this nightmare. I hope." The doors slammed shut, plunging him back into darkness. Section 4, floor -2, where things get hairy, literally. The elevator shuddered to a stop. Jamie cautiously opened the door, bracing himself for the worst. He was met with a blindingly bright room, filled with fluffy pink clouds and the soothing sounds of harp music. A sigh of relief escaped his lips. Jamie, finally, something normal. Then he noticed the giant floating head. The head, sporting a magnificent handlebar mustache, smiled down at him.
"Welcome, Sonny. Care for a game of checkers? I haven't had a good head scratch in centuries."
Jamie, torn between screaming and politely declining the offer, managed a weak response. "Jamie, maybe later. I'm actually running late for..." He trailed off, realizing the absurdity of explaining his predicament to a giant floating head. Section 5. Back to reality. He pushed past the floating head and into the next elevator. This time, there were two buttons, one pointing down, the other, finally, pointing up. He slammed his hand on the up button, the doors closing just as the head began to sing a mournful ballad about lost checker partners. The elevator lurched upwards. When it finally opened, he was back on his own floor, the hallway bustling with students rushing to class. He checked his watch. Somehow, impossibly, he was right on time. Had it all been a bizarre dream? He reached into his pocket and pulled out a single playing card. The ace of spades, tiny graduation cap doodle on its corner. Jamie smiled. Jamie. Right, English lit. Time for the real weirdness to begin. Jamie stepped out of the elevator, finding himself in a dimly lit basement filled with old forgotten items. Dusty books, broken furniture, and mysterious artifacts were scattered around. A faint whisper echoed through the room, sending chills down his spine. He cautiously moved forward, his footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. Suddenly, a shadowy figure appeared, its eyes glowing in the darkness. "Jamie, who are you?" The figure stepped closer, revealing itself to be a ghostly janitor. "Janitor? I'm the keeper of lost things." "What brings you here, young one?" "Jamie, I took a wrong turn. I'm just trying to get back to my class." The janitor nodded, a knowing smile on his face. "Janitor, follow me, I'll show you the way, but beware. Not everything in this basement is as it seems." As Jamie followed the janitor, the whispers grew louder, almost as if the lost items were trying to communicate. He could feel the weight of countless stories and forgotten memories pressing in on him. The janitor led him to a small, unmarked door at the far end of the basement. "Janitor, through here you'll find your way back. But remember, sometimes what is lost is not meant to be found." Jamie took a deep breath and stepped through the door, the whispers fading behind him. He found himself back in the familiar hallway, the sounds of students and teachers filling the air. He glanced back, but the door and the basement were gone. Clutching the ace of spades in his hand, Jamie knew that his journey was far from over.